Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott Selections here for Thursday, June 20th. Before we get into the play of the day today, we'll quickly recap what happened yesterday. We picked up another winner yesterday with the Pittsburgh Pirates' first five team total over 2.5, which was available at 5 dimes at -120. Definitely an easy winner there. Zimmerman wasn't great. Trevor Williams, shockingly, was also pretty bad, but the Pirates ended up winning the full game. If you did take the first half spread, you ended up losing by a run. But at the same point, we did simply just fade Jordan Zimmerman as we didn't know what to expect with him returning and the fact that he wasn't a great pitcher to begin with. Pirates offense killed him, and we ended up getting a nice winner. But unfortunately, today we are actually not going to dive back between the Tigers and the Pirates, even though we've won the last 2 days with that matchup. We're actually going to be looking at one of the afternoon games at 3:40 Eastern Time, and we will be looking at a total between the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, and we will be taking the over 8.5, which is available at -110 at JustBet. For this pitching matchup, you have Jeff Hoffman versus Robbie Ray. Hoffman has had a season to forget so far, as he is currently 1-3 with a 7.04 ERA. To make matters worse, on the road, he's also 0-2 with a 9.28 ERA. With 10.2 innings pitched, and he's given up 11 earned runs and an opposing batting average of 289. And in day games, he is also 0-1 with an 11.57 ERA, 4.2 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, and an opposing batting average of 333. However, he has pitched against the Diamondbacks before, and on May 29th, he ended up going 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. Not bad, but at the same point, the Diamondbacks have now actually seen him before, so I expect him to play better, especially at home. And it's also worth mentioning that after we saw the Rockies against the Padres over the past weekend, that this Rockies bullpen is, for a lack of a better word, bad. So even if Hoffman goes roughly 5 innings or so, I don't trust this Colorado bullpen to shut down Arizona's offense over the last 4 innings whatsoever. So I think Arizona should score at least 5 to 6 runs in this game minimum. Meanwhile, if you look at the other side of the equation with Robbie Ray, definitely a household name in terms of baseball bettors because of the fact that he's been around for a while. This season, though, he's been okay. He's only 5-4 with a 3.83 ERA. However, if you do look at his numbers against the Rockies, they are not very good, as he has given up an opposing on-base percentage against the Rockies in 174 at-bats, huge sample size. The Rockies batters who faced him have an on-base percentage of .417 and a batting average of .339. So the Rockies historically kill Robbie Ray, and I definitely don't think that Robbie Ray will have his best stuff today, as the Rockies offense woke up yesterday and ended up picking up a nice win. Plus, Rays coming into this awful poor start, 6 innings, 5 earned runs, and Arizona's bullpen isn't great either. I'm not going to say that it's as bad as the Rockies bullpen, because the Rockies bullpen is significantly worse, but both teams, I think, should score at least 5 runs in this game. And all you really need is both teams to score 4 in this game, then you win based on the fact that the minimum score will be 5-4. So for me, I think there is a lot of value here on the over 8.5. It has been getting bet up over the last, I'd say, 5 minutes, as bookmakers moved up from -110 to -115. However, it still is available at -110 at JustBet, as well as 5 dimes. So we will be giving it out with that line at the time of recording of roughly 12:40 Eastern time today. So with that being said, we're going to look at the leans for the rest of the card. We're going to start out with the early game between the Indians and the Rangers with Bieber versus Minor. I lean to the Indians there. We're right about the Indians yesterday, as Palumbo was absolutely terrible in his start yesterday, and the Indians won easily. I'll have to lean to the Indians again. I know that Texas is solid at home, and I know Minor is good, but I like Bieber, and I like the way that he's pitched this season. I think the Indians are in better form. I think that they have the better starting pitcher. And for that reason, I simply think that laying -116 here is too valuable to pass up. So I will lean to the Indians' money line there. Rockies already gave out in terms of the actual game itself. I'd lean to the Diamondbacks, but that's a small lean because Ray doesn't have great numbers against the Rockies by any means, and Hoffman's not very good. So that's kind of a toss-up there. But I'll pass personally on the side. Moving on, you have the Phillies versus the Nationals. Phillies looking to avoid getting swept as they were swept in the doubleheader yesterday, as Scherzer pitched an absolute gem with a broken nose and gave up no earned runs over 7 innings. You have Fetty versus Pivetta. I don't like either pitcher in this matchup, but I can't take the over 10.5 here. The Phillies over their last 3 games have scored a combined 3 runs, so I don't really trust this Phillies lineup at this point in time. I'm going to have to lean to the under 10.5. I know Fetty isn't great. I know Pavetta's not great by any means. But at the same point, until the Phillies start hitting again, there's no way I'm going to take an over 10.5 here. So I'll lean to the under 10.5 in that one. Moving on, you have the Astros versus the Yankees. Yankees picked up a much-needed sweep against Tampa Bay over the past few days to get nice separation in the division, where the Astros shockingly got swept by the Cincinnati Reds on the road over the last couple of days. You have Green versus Valdez. Green's only going to be pitching an inning or two. Valdez was okay in his last start against Toronto, but overall, in terms of this game, Yankees are minus 133. I know Altuve did come back against the Reds. He was 0 for 4 yesterday, but he's finally back in the lineup. I still will lean to the Yankees, though. Yankees have looked really solid lately. In terms of the lineups, it has not been determined yet because of the fact that the Yankees have so many different outfielders and so many combinations. With Encarnacion now in the lineup and Stanton now back on the active roster, you don't really know who the Yankees are going to be using. But the Yankees still scored 12 runs yesterday, and they got to Blake Snell really early. I like the way the Yankees have been playing. It's at Yankee Stadium. I'll link to the Yankees in that one on the money line. Moving on, you have Miami versus St. Louis. Lean to the under 8 here. Until I see a Cardinals and Marlins game go over a total, I'm going to keep betting the under. Wainwright has been inconsistent, to say the least. I know he did get injured, and he hasn't pitched in the last week or so. And Gallen's a relative unknown, but the Marlins can hit. The Cardinals' offense is inconsistent, and I'm simply going to lean to the under 8 in that one. Moving on, you have the Brewers versus the Reds. Brewers choked away at a couple of leads yesterday against the Padres and ended up losing. Jimmy Nelson was solid in his last start. Rourke has been inconsistent, but money's actually coming on the Reds. Brewers open up at minus 145, down to roughly minus 135, and the total has been bet up from 9 to 9.5. I'm simply just going to take the Reds here. I know the Reds have been a lot better at home. They have been on the road, but the Brewers have looked awful. Just got swept by the Padres. For the first, it's actually an interesting fact I found out on SportsCenter the other day, was that the Brewers got swept by the Padres at Petco Park for the first time since 2007. Which is kind of shocking because it's been 12 years since the Padres swept a division team, one of their division rivals at home. But the Brewers have looked terribly over the last week. And I'm simply going to lean to the Reds, who are coming off of a sweep against the Astros. Definitely the better form with the Reds here. Lean to the Reds in that one. Moving on, you have the Twins versus the Royals. I have to lean to the Twins with Odorizzi on the mound. Was not great in his last start, but the Twins just had a disappointing showing against the Red Sox, as that they were able to take 1 of 3. But Kansas City's just did not play that well against the Mariners. So I'm gonna lean to the Twins and to the Twins minus 1.5 on the road. I think they'll get the job done pretty easily. Moving on, you have the Rays versus the A's with Morton versus Montes. I will lean to Oakland here at minus 110 on the money line. Montes has been fantastic. Morton's been very solid as well this season, picked up his first loss in his last start. But the Rays just got swept by the Yankees, and Oakland just had a very nice series where they got to beat up on the Orioles. I'll lean to Oakland in that one. And moving on, you have the Dodgers versus the Giants with Bumgarner versus Urias. I'll lean to the under 7.5 here in the first 5 under. I think Bumgarner will pitch really well against one of his biggest rivals. Urias has been inconsistent, but the Giants' lineup's inconsistent as well. So I think this game has a total of 7.5 for a good reason, and I expect you to see runs come at a premium in this one. Lean to the under in that one. And the last game, you have the Orioles versus the Mariners. Bundy's pitching. In terms for the Mariners, it's not really been determined yet. If you look at the projections, you're looking at Wade LeBlanc potentially. For me, I'll lean to the over in this game. Both teams have awful bullpens. Both teams have decent lineups. I'll lean to the over in that one. But the play of the day, as I said before, will be on the over between the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks, which is at 8.5 at Just Bet and 5 dimes. So the over will be the play of the day. Before we conclude today's video, quick reminder of our sponsors. at PointsBet, online sportsbook in New Jersey. They have a great deal for new members. Up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000. So if you end up risking your money on any of these baseball games or even WNBA or even honestly anything, and you end up losing, you get your money back and don't have to worry about rebuilding your bankroll from scratch, which is definitely a great deal for you. I will leave some more promo codes and a link in the description below if you are curious about it. But with that being said, play of the day is on the Rockies and Diamondbacks over 8.5, which is available at -110 at JustBet. And with that being said, that's going to do it for this installment of Scott Selections here for Thursday, June 20th. And good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.